Today's reading is from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 9, verses 15 through 29. The people saw Jesus and were surprised and ran to greet him. Jesus asked the teachers of the law, "What are you arguing about with them?" One of the people said, "Teacher, I brought my son to you. He has a demon in him and cannot talk. Whenever the demon takes him, it throws him down. Spit runs from his mouth. He grinds his teeth. He's getting weaker. I asked your followers to put the demon out, but they could not." Jesus said, "You people of this day have no faith. How long must I be with you? How long must I put up with you? Bring the boy to me." They brought the boy to Jesus. The demon saw Jesus and at once held the boy in his power. The boy fell to the ground with spit running from his mouth. Jesus asked the boy's father, "How long has he been like this?" And the father said, "From the time he was a child. Many times it throws him into the fire and into the water to kill him. If you can do anything to help us, take pity on us." Jesus said to him, "Why do you ask me that? The one who has faith can do all things." At once the father cried out. He said with tears in his eyes, "Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief." Jesus saw that many people were gathering together in a hurry. He spoke sharp words to the demon. He said, "Demon, you cannot speak or you who cannot speak or hear, I say to you, come out of him. Do not ever go into him again." The demon gave a cry. It threw the boy down and came out of him. The boy was so much like a dead man that the people said, "He is dead." But Jesus took him by the hand and helped him, and he stood up. When Jesus went into the house, his followers asked him when he was alone, "Why could we not put out the demon?" He said to them, "The only way this kind of demon is put out is by prayer." This is the word of God for the people of God.
Good morning. It is a blessing and privilege to be in front of you again. And the reason that the text for Andy might have been so small is my fault. Sorry, Andy. Show of hands, who has seen the movie Groundhog Day? Awesome. All right. I will give you a recap. So we have a cynical weatherman played by Bill Murray. His name is Phil Connors. And he has been asked to cover the annual Groundhog Day event held February 2nd of every year in the quaint little town of Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. Phil Connors does not think that this town is so great. This is like his third or fourth time that he's been asked to cover it. So he arrives into town. Well, the event, what they do is every year at February 2nd, they use a live groundhog who predicts through his handlers whether there's going to be 6 more weeks of winter or if spring is going to arrive early. So Phil arrives in town, reluctantly checks into his bed and breakfast, reluctantly sets his alarm clock for 6 a.m. for the next morning, and his alarm clock goes off planned at 6 a.m. to the local radio station playing Sonny and Cher's "Got You, Babe." So put your little hand in mine. There ain't no hill or mountain we can't climb. Guys, there's a reason I don't sing. Thank you. Susan's looking at me like, yeah, just keep playing the guitar. So he wakes up. He gets ready. He shows up to the event. He does a very half-hearted report on the event, taking in all the festivities. The groundhog has predicted that there's going to be 6 more weeks of winter. So in true comedic fashion, right after this happens, Phil is trying to get the heck out of town. A blizzard hits the town, and he is stuck in his favorite place of Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. So he goes back to his bed and breakfast with all the reluctancy that he has. sets his alarm clock for the next morning, and hopes that the weather will be better the next day for him to get the heck out of Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. He wakes up to, "Put your little hand in mine." I'm not going to sing the rest of it. You guys get it. Okay? Oh, y'all. Anyways, so he wakes up. He hears the DJs bantering the same morning show that they had before. He thinks that they're playing a tape on accident. But as he gets out and goes downstairs, he realizes that he is reliving the previous day exactly as it happened. No one knows it. Everybody thinks it's Groundhog Day all over again. He starts to go a little nuts, but he eventually just chalks it up to deja vu. He goes to sleep, wakes up the next morning to his alarm clock. "So put your little hand in mine." I hope y'all are ready for that, because we're going to be doing a lot of that today, okay? So he wakes up and he realizes that he might be destined to repeat February 2nd, Groundhog Day, forever. He can't see a way out. He can't see anything good. He's lost his faith. It's taboo for us Christians, but we have our Phil Connors episodes too, where we experience periods of doubt, and we may not want to talk about them. We can't see a way out of something. We can't see anything good. And just like Phil Connors, we feel trapped in that situation for whatever reason. In fact, I'm willing to bet that there are plenty of people in here who have gone through a prolonged period of doubt, are currently going through a prolonged period of doubt, or will go through a prolonged period of doubt. And the math backs me up on this. There was a group, the Barna Group, and they did a study a few years ago. They took 2,000 people, a mix of people that were mostly Christian, and they asked them 3 questions. Can we have the first question? Okay. For anybody that knows me closely, like Jake Jordan, they know that I do not like statistics and things like that. So for me to do that today shows how much I love y'all. Okay? So the first question by the Barna Group was, in the past few years, let me get my glasses on for this part. So in the past few years, if at all, how often have you experienced doubts about your religious beliefs? There's a lot to digest on this graph, especially for the folks that are people and not data people. If you're a data person, I guess you'll love this right now. All you need to see is at the total, at the top bar there, it says all the participants total, and then there's a breakdown of all Christians, practicing Christians, non-practicing, other faith, and so on. And then it shows, in the color coded, is from beige being frequently all the way to gray being never. What I really want y'all to take away from this graph here is that there's, aside from a few variances, it's about the same. If you look at the red being rarely and the green being sometimes, it's basically 50% of us, regardless of our designation faith-wise, 50% of us have had an experience of doubt about our religious beliefs in the last few years. Next slide, please. The next question that they asked was, thinking about your experiences of spirituality or Christianity, how true is the following about you today? I have gone through a prolonged period of time where I doubted my faith. If you look at the green being 31% saying somewhat true, and the beige or taupe, I don't know, my wife isn't right here to tell me what color that might be. Taupe being 19%. You add those up, I'm not good at math, but I think that's 50% of being, 50% of the respondents said that they have gone through a prolonged period of time where I doubted my faith. And the last question, please, last slide. Sorry, I'll read that for you. Do any of the following cause you to doubt Christian beliefs? Select all that apply. In this particular one, I decided to look at the purple. The purple is the practicing Christians. That's us. For the practicing Christians, the top causes for doubting their faith, if you can see them, is human suffering, bless you, hypocrisy of religious people, conflict in the world, woke Christianity. And if you keep reading more of them, those are the top four. But there's also unanswered questions, unanswered prayer, difficulty interpreting the Bible, and more. Thank you, Cheryl. So we can't see a way out. We look at those situations, whether it's conflict in the world, human suffering, unanswered prayers, whatever it might be. We encounter these situations. We can't see a way out. We can't see the good. We lose our faith. So what do we do? How do we tackle and get through these periods of prolonged periods of doubt? The first thing that we can do if we turn to the Bible is we pray for faith. Andy read today in the Gospel of Mark about a boy who's suffering from ailments. Namely, he's mute, he's deaf, and he frequently has seizures. Jesus arrives. The boy's father pleads with Jesus, "Please have mercy, please have pity on me." And like Andy read, Jesus' response was, "Anything's possible to those who believe." Next slide, please. To which the man replies, "Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief." Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief. That is one of these most complicated, most profound things for me that's not said by Jesus in the Bible. The man is basically saying, I believe in God, but I need God to help me with my unbelief. Weird, right? He has the blessing and the fortunateness, if that's a word, fortunateness, we'll go with it, of standing right in front of God. We don't have that 2,000 years later. He is standing in front of Jesus and saying, I see you. I believe in you, but I am blinded by the world around me, and I need help believing in you. So then, it's also what this shows is it's okay for us to acknowledge our doubts to ourselves, to other Christians that can help us, and most importantly to God. To say, Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief. After praying for faith, it's important for us then to lean on actions and works. But I want to get something very clear because we can get into some murky water with faith versus works. Ephesians 2:8-9. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing, it is of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. Paul is saying that salvation is a gift from God. It's not done by merit. It's not done by human actions or works. Salvation is a gift from God. Moving on to James 2:14-20. If someone says he has faith but does not have works, can faith save him? If a brother or sister is naked and destitute of daily food, and one of you says to them, depart in peace, be warmed and filled, but you do not give them the things which are needed for the body, what does it profit? Thus also faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. You believe that there is one God, you do well. Even the demons believe and tremble, but you do not want to know that faith without works is dead. So yes, we are saved by faith and by faith alone. But what this is saying here is that faith without works is dead. Therefore, it stands to reason that when our faith is low, when we have our doubts, when we're part of that Barna survey, when our faith is low, we should lean on our works and actions to revive our faith. Let's go back to Phil Connors. He's stuck in a time loop. He's reliving Groundhog Day over and over again. February 2nd has become his personal hell. He doesn't see a way out. He doesn't see the good in any situation. He loses his faith that he'll ever get out. Next slide. So each morning he wakes up to Sonny and Cher. It's now been thousands of days of this. Put your little hand in mine. He's done. He's now smashing the alarm clock. Phil becomes increasingly focused on his problem, and he lets his doubt control his outlook and behavior. In true comedic fashion, next slide, at one point, he kidnaps the groundhog, steals a truck, and they go on a joyride while he lets the groundhog drive and the cops are in pursuit. If any of you haven't seen this movie or haven't seen it lately, please watch it. It is hilarious. But Phil, after thousands of days of just being in his internal mindset, his internal struggle, turns his focus to external devotion to others. He helps someone change a flat tire. He sees that a kid is falling from a tree and saves them. He even saves a man choking at a restaurant. These are people that have been there the entire time. They have been there for every day for those thousands of days with him. But he's been so focused on his internal struggle that he has missed those external opportunities to do well, to do good. This builds, all of this goodwill and good action builds and culminates to him trying to help a homeless man. He eventually sees the homeless man and decides he's going to put his hand out and give this homeless man money. By the way, he's been ignoring this homeless man for thousands of days. And he finally says, okay, let me give this man some money. The homeless man passes away. Well, the beauty about Phil Connor's situation is he has another day to figure it out. So the next day, he takes him to the diner that he's been going to every day, and he feeds him. The man still passes away. He takes him to the hospital, gets him checked out. He still passes away. Phil has come to realize that it's just this man's destiny to die on Groundhog Day. But what Phil realizes is that the man is now dying with love and dignity and knowing that he was a child of God and being cared for. When Phil's faith is gone, he leans on his actions and devotion to others, which helps revive his faith. This embodies the spirit of Matthew 25:35. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you drink? And when did we see you a stranger and welcome you, or naked and clothe you? And when did we see you sick or in prison and visit you? And the king will answer them, Truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers, you did it to me. Let's move on to another person who struggled with doubt. Let's look at their personal writing. The pain within is so great. The place of God in my soul is blank. In the darkness, Lord my God, who am I that you should forsake me? The one you have thrown away is unwanted and unloved. I call, I cling. I want, and there is no one to answer. No one on whom I can cling. No one. Alone. The darkness is so dark, and I am alone. That's Mother Teresa. Let that sink in for a sec. That's Mother Teresa, whose name is very synonymous with unwavering faith, right? And with tireless work and action. For decades, the world saw her as a beacon of Christ's love, a living saint walking among the dying. Yet after her death, her private writings reveal a profound and agonizing truth. For the last 50 years of her life, she struggled with an agonizing doubt in her faith and in God. Not for a moment, not for a season, not for a year. 50 years of her life, the last 50. Going back to that Barna survey, I think she wins the game. So what did Mother Teresa do during these 50 years of doubt? For starters, like we talked about earlier, she prayed for her faith. In her private writing, "Where is my faith? Even deep down, right in there is nothing but emptiness and darkness. If there be God, please forgive me." Does that sound familiar? Gospel of Mark, the boy's father. "Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief. If there be God, please forgive me. Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief." And in addition to her prayer, she leaned when her faith was low. She leaned into her actions and works, embodying the spirit of Matthew 25:35. In closing, when we are in prolonged periods of doubt and our faith is low, first thing that we can do is turn to prayer. "Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief." And two, leaning into works and actions like Phil Connors and Mother Teresa. Never thought I would put those two together. Our faith is not solely about what we think and what we feel. It's what we do. It's our actions. It's our devotion to others. When God feels distant, when the spiritual well runs dry, be like Phil Connors and Mother Teresa. Shift your focus from your internal struggles, we'll pray, and shift your focus from your internal struggles to those external opportunities and devotion to others. And as Matthew 25:35 states, that devotion to others is a devotion to God, which hopefully gets you closer to Him and helps you revive your faith. The answer for Phil Connors was there for him every morning. It just took him thousands of mornings to realize. Put your little hand in mine. There ain't no hill or mountain we can't climb. When in times of doubt, when your faith is low, take someone in need by the hand, and both of you will be fed. Amen.